Oh God, who is this weirdo? Honestly, this bloke is an absolute pain in the backside. Yeah, it was horrible. It was probably one of the most horrible experiences in my life, just not knowing what I was about to see. I definitely made the right decision in staying in today. It is completely blowing hooly out there. I hope you're all staying safe in this horrible storm that's hit us today. It is really, really grotty, and yeah, I think it's across the whole of England, so I don't think anybody is escaping it. So yeah, I made the right decision in organising this Q&A. I have to say, I was really nervous about doing this. It wasn't something that I had anticipated doing so early on. Yeah, I thought it was just too early in the day and I wouldn't get any questions. But I have been proved wrong. I've had a really, really good response, so I'm overwhelmed. Thank you very much for asking. Right, so I have spent a while putting them together and I have got them on my laptop, so I'm sorry if it's not kind of like the best position. I would have done this in front of the fire in the lounge, but Mum and Dad are staying with me and they've kind of hogged the best position in the house. So I have been relegated to the study and having my laptop on my knee. I'm going to have to put my glasses on as well. So yeah, so shall we get into it? I feel really nervous. I don't know why I feel nervous doing something like this. Everybody on YouTube seems to do Q&As, don't they? So it's perfectly normal, but hopefully I haven't missed anybody's questions. I have tried to go through them methodically, but if I've missed your question, I can only apologise. Anyway, we'll see how we get on, shall we? Why am I nervous? This is so weird. This is, it's funny. This feels harder than doing a normal vlog and going out. So Linda Harper, do you think your other half, Mark, may be introduced? Right, so Mark, we're not married, by the way. A few people have asked that as well. We aren't married, we are engaged. We've been engaged for a long, long time, and it's just one of those things that we've not got around to doing, getting married. He is very old school. He is not into social media at all. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like Facebook. He doesn't like, well, to be quite honest, I say he doesn't like Instagram. I don't even think he knows what Instagram is. And when I kind of initially spoke to him about YouTube, he was a little bit, I'm not saying uncomfortable. He just hasn't got the knowledge of it because it's not something that he has ever indulged in, because he's just not a sit at home on your phone, watching content. So he doesn't know a great deal about it. He doesn't particularly like it. So therefore, I don't think he will be on it at any point. Never say never, but at this moment, it would be a no. I think he'd steal the show anyway. Is your husband an ex-footballer? Sorry, I haven't got a name for that one. No, he's not. I'm sure he would like to think he was. He could have been a footballer, but he isn't, no. Amy, you also asked, what does your hubby do? So Mark has always been in the motor trade, and he was brand director for a very, very well-known car manufacturer, and he's run numerous businesses throughout his life, but more recently he's joined another company which is still involved in the motor trade, but not in directly selling cars. It's more about supplying parts for cars and things like that. But yeah, he's director of his own company now. But no, I don't think we'll be seeing Mark on here anytime soon. He will remain an enigma. Okay, Kat, how do you deal with rude or sexist comments about your channel? Up to now, I have been incredibly lucky and I've had very few. I have some wonderful subscribers. Thank you all. And as I say, everybody's just been really, really kind. Now, I have had the odd one, and I think at first I've had the odd nasty comments which at first obviously upset you a little bit. But I think when you just think about it, you just have to think, well, what type of person is it who's saying this? And you just have to think about things methodically. With regards to sexism, I have always been in quite male-dominated industries. When I was flying, finance is very male-orientated. I also used to have a season ticket for Sheffield Wednesday, and I used to travel home and away with a big group of guys. And yeah, I was always the subject of sexist jokes, but in the most, I always knew they were never intended to hurt, and it was just more of a bit of a laugh. So you just kind of brush it off, I think. And you know, if that's what makes you happy, just to make daft sexist jokes, then fair enough. It you know, doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me. That's not to say, you know, as I continue going on with YouTube and stuff, I'm sure I will get more and more trolls, and how I deal with it at that point, I'm not entirely sure, so we'll just have to wait and see with that, I think. Right, Georgie Porgy. Hey Bex. Aside from By the Curb, who else do you watch on YouTube? I don't really get the amount of spare time I would like to watch YouTube as often as I would like. Obviously, I do watch By the Curb, my brother. I would be reprimanded if I didn't. But other than him, I tend to watch a lot of ladies' channels. There's Midlife Minx, Jo Good. I really, really enjoy her stuff because she's worked for the BBC, so it's a little bit of her life in London, and yeah, I enjoy her, and she's quite a bubbly personality, so quite enjoyable to watch. I watch Hannah Ricketts. She does a lot around London again. And I also like Rosie, is it Henshaw? She does shopping hauls, but for household interior things. And she's just got the loveliest personality. So yeah, I enjoy watching them. Donna Pierce. If you won the lottery, would you buy a plane for recreational purposes? No, absolutely not. And the reason for that is, my last job when I was flying, I was in charge of managing the aircraft, everything about it, all the maintenance. And it's a real headache, not to mention expensive. Had I have not experienced that, then probably the answer would have been yes, I would get one. But knowing what I know now, I wouldn't. I think what I would do is just hire one as and when I want to go somewhere, and let somebody else deal with all the rubbish that comes with maintenance and all that stuff. Yeah, it's hard work. Margaret Sanderson. If you are coming down under, which part are you visiting? So I've mentioned a couple of times, I don't know if I've spoken about it openly in a vlog. I have quite a few viewers from Australia, and I've spoken to them in comments and things about me wanting to come over, and we've discussed going over this coming Christmas. Now, Mark's sister lives in Sydney, just on the outskirts of Sydney. And so if we did come over, we would obviously be visiting them. But we also have other family in different areas. So we'd probably do a little bit of a tour. If we do Australia, and it's not 100% yet this Christmas, it probably would be the one and only time that we would go. So I think we would try to make it as long a holiday as possible and do lots of different places. So I'm open to recommendations. If you can, tell me where's good to go. I'd love to see the Great Barrier Reef. Not particularly bothered about going to see Ayers Rock. Somebody's just said it's a big hot red rock with lots of ants, so that doesn't really appeal to me. Edward, I know, would love to see some salty crocodiles. So yeah, if you've got any recommendations for that, that would be greatly received. Steve N. Hey Becky, my question is to you. How and when did you get into flying? And do you still have a pilot's license? I'm sure you said in a past vlog about flying to get cheese. Yes, I did used to go and get cheese from Latuke. Do you know, I can't remember the year now. I kind of fell into flying. If you watch one of my older vlogs about flying, I kind of touch on it a little bit in there, how I got started. So it fell into my lap. A friend asked me if I wanted to do it, and it was too good an opportunity not to do. So yeah, how old was I? Gosh, I must have been about 34, I think, when I started. So ages ago. Have you still got a pilot's license? So my pilot's license will have currently lapsed because I haven't flown for quite a while, but I could quite easily just bob down to the local airfield, see my old instructor Christine, and just say, can you take me out for a test flight? And with that, I would then be able to just go and hire something like a little Cessna or a Piper, just for little trips and things. However, I don't particularly enjoy flying smaller aircraft like that anymore, so I would probably want to get back into a twin aircraft, which would be a little bit more involved, so I'd have to go and do a few hours refresher course. But yeah, my license could be brought back, not a problem. Right, so Sue Terry, where was your favourite holiday destination, home or away, and where would you like to go next and why? I want to go anywhere, just get me away from this cold weather. My favourite holiday destination, do you know, that is hard because I have been super lucky in my life and I've been to some fantastic places. One of my all-time favourite places has to be Miami. I absolutely adore Miami. When I was with my ex-partner, we used to spend a lot of time in Miami. He had a holiday home just off South Beach, and we would spend a minimum of a month there over Christmas period. And I just love it. I love the fact that there was always something happening. You'd go for a walk down South Beach in the morning and there'd be a photo shoot, there'd be somebody doing a music video, there'd be parades. I love the architecture, I love the art deco, the colours. I just adore Miami. The food was fantastic and there's just something to do all the time. It's a really, really bustling place. Right, where are we? So that's favourite holiday destination. Diane would like to know if I've made any arrangements for holidays this year, and if so, where do we think we might go? So I've suggested, we've talked about Australia. However, that would be the coming Christmas if we do manage to get there this year. I can't wait that long for a holiday. So we have been talking about going somewhere sooner rather than later, actually. We're just both desperate for a little bit of winter sun. So we've even discussed possibly going to Tenerife for a week around Easter time, but we've not got anything booked yet, but that's something that could be on the cards. And if we do go, I will bring you with me and do a little vlog whilst I'm out there. Suzanne, if you could go anywhere in the world on holiday, where would you go? I've travelled a lot in Europe and I've travelled quite a bit in America. I haven't done a great deal of Asia. I'd love to go to Thailand. And now I've got Edward, one of the things that is definitely on my bucket list is to go to South Africa. I'd love to take him on safari, just go and see incredible animals in their natural habitat. It would be a dream come true. I adore elephants, and yeah, what could be more wonderful than going out there and actually seeing them in their own, where they're meant to be, not in the zoo. Thelma. Hi Becky, what is your favourite thing about vlogging, and do you worry about giving too much information about your personal life? Well, it's not, I'm doing a quick Q&A and telling you all about my personal life, but no, it's really important that we have to obviously keep some things to ourselves. I am quite cautious if I'm filming in and around the house that I don't have things that will identify where we live. I think it's really important that I do keep some of my life private, which is obviously the case with Mark. You haven't met him yet, and the likelihood of you meeting him is very, very slim. Edward is desperate to be on my vlogs more. I'm caught between a rock and a hard place because a lot of the spare time that I have for vlogging, he's with me. So it's very difficult to not have him on there sometimes. However, I would never disclose schooling or anything like that. So he'll probably just pop on every now and then. If it was left to him, he would have his own channel. What's my favourite thing about vlogging? I tell you what's not my favourite thing. My favourite thing about vlogging is the fact that it is making me do things that I wouldn't have normally done. It forces your hand to go out to places. Like Matlock, when I went there the other day, what a gorgeous day. I enjoyed that so much. And off the back of that, I am definitely going to take Edward and Mark, and we're going to have a day out there, and we're going to go and do the Heights of Abraham and stuff like that. So that is definitely the best side of vlogging, the fact that it forces you to do things, to get out and do stuff. Right. Oh, God. Who is this weirdo? Honestly, this bloke is an absolute pain in the backside. By the curb, James Burton. Do you ever take time out to reflect on what an amazing brother you have? For those of you who don't know, my brother has got his own YouTube channel, and I know probably 95% of you do watch him anyway. I do have an amazing brother. I'm very, very lucky. We are incredibly close. We're a very close family. We speak to each other most days. The conversation has swapped from football to YouTube now. So that's pretty much all we talk about. But he has been an incredible help for me. Well, I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for him, to be fair. Yeah, he really encouraged me to get into it. He gave me a big leg up when I first started, and yeah, he's a constant source of assistance. So yes, James, I do take time out and I do reflect how amazing you are. Thank you very much, weirdo. Steve Rice. I've messaged you a few times concerning Bowie. So my questions to you are, what are your musical tastes and who have you seen live? Ooh. Gosh, I love music. I just love music. I have, so many artists. The list is just too long to go on. So Fleetwood Mac would have to be at the top. Now, it's funny with Fleetwood Mac. My father used to rock me to sleep when I was a baby to Fleetwood Mac. I used to rock Edward to sleep when he was a baby to Fleetwood Mac. There's just something about that music that, I don't know, it gets me here. I love it. I just love it so much. So Fleetwood Mac are at the top of my list. I loved Prince. I went through a massive Michael Jackson phase. I love, oh gosh, you name it. Everything and anything. I would say the only music genre that I'm not a particular big fan of is probably heavy rock, something like that. But I would sit down and listen to a piece of Satie piano music. I will sit and listen to Dolly Parton, Garth Brooks, love country. Yeah. How long's, it's a really difficult question to answer. I just love music. But who have I seen live? I've seen Dolly Parton live. I took my mum. We didn't have cowgirl hats on, but it was good fun. She was lovely. I was lucky enough to see Michael Jackson and Prince. I've seen Janet Jackson, who was basically like watching Michael in a dress. We had, Mark is a massive fan of Billy Joel, and hence I now am too. So for one of Mark's birthdays, I bought tickets to go and see Billy Joel. It was down in Birmingham, and the tickets that I'd got were okay, but they weren't great because it was quite a last minute thing. So we weren't too high up, but we weren't in the best seats ever. But when we were in the concourse before the concert, this guy came up to us and he said, "Where are your tickets?" And we said, "Well, here." They're kind of set back a little bit. He says, "Well, would you like to be near the front?" I'm like, "Well, what's the catch?" And he just said, he says, "Well, you look really, really smart, and we are recording this gig for a video for Billy, and we want people who look a certain way at the front of the at the front of the stage." it sounded a bit too good to be true, and we were a little bit concerned, but he just said, look, he says, all you've got to do is give me your tickets and I'll give you these tickets. So we went for it, and we went down to these new seats that we'd just been given, and honestly, I was literally 2 meters away from Billy Joel. It was just incredible. It was such an experience, and what an artist he is. I recommend him. Who else have I seen? Beautiful South. Oh gosh, Brian Adams was my first ever concert. My cousin got me tickets. Simply Red. I love Simply Red. I don't go to as many concerts or gigs as I would like to. I always enjoy them when I go. I saw Arctic Monkeys before they made it. That was really good. That was down at the Boardwalk in Sheffield. I don't even think that place exists anymore. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Lorraine David, I would love to know what makeup brands you use, because your skin and makeup always look stunning. Thank you. That's lovely. That's really kind of you to say. Makeup brands, with regards to, I swap and change quite a bit. I'm not, the one main thing that I am very loyal to, and that is the foundation that I use, and it's Estee Lauder Double Wear. It is quite a heavy one for probably somebody my age, because I'm knocking on now. But yeah, I really, really like that foundation. So that is probably the one that I am really loyal to. Mascara, again, probably the one brand that I would always go to would be Max Factor 2000 Calorie. I like that. But other things I will swap and change. Charlotte Tilbury. I've even bought makeup from Aldi, of all places, which has been better than what you would expect. But I'm not as experimental as what I used to be. When I used to go out on a Friday night, I would spend hours doing my makeup, and I used to do really quite elaborate makeup. I loved MAC for all the fantastic colours that you would get. But yeah, I like to switch around quite a bit, but I always do go back to Estee Lauder. Oh, you also want to know what brand of spectacles I wear. My big specs, my Deirdre Barlow's. I've had reading glasses for it's when I turned 40. What do they say? It's like a birthday gift, isn't it? It's bad eyes arrive when you turn 40. I don't look after glasses. I throw them in my bags, so I do not buy expensive glasses anymore. These big ones that you see me in all the time, these are a company called Good Lookers, and I actually found these in a little, there's a little gift shop in the village near where I live, and I just tried them on, and I love them because I've got quite a big head, so I think I need a big glasses, and they're quite on trend at the minute. So yeah, check them out. They're really reasonable price. I mean, they're definitely not more than £20. They feel better quality than what the price would suggest. Catherine Green, where do you shop for your gorgeous wallpapers? Wallpaper. Wallpaper does make me happy. Where do I get them from? Where do I shop for them? I don't go to a particular shop. What I tend to do is, when I'm trying to source a wallpaper, is I usually have an idea in mind as to what I want, and I've usually got the ideas from magazines. There's an app which I use called Houzz, Houzz. If you haven't got it and you're into interiors, download it. It is incredible. It has thousands and thousands of interior photographs, and if you are doing a design project or anything, it's brilliant. It is just brilliant. It was my Bible when we were doing this house up. I just spent hours trawling through there. So I will get my ideas from places like that, magazines, and then I will just do a generic search on the internet. I always find places like Wallpapers Direct is pretty good. They stock such a wide range of brands. My favourite brand, I think, at the moment is a company called Mind the Gap. Some of their wallpapers are just incredible. I haven't got any in the house. They are quite elaborate, and I don't really have a space for them, but they are on my list to definitely purchase some. Jonathan Adams, morning Becky. My question is, would you consider marrying me? Bless you. Lol, no harm in asking. But seriously, if you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 essential items would you take with you? Oh, thank you for asking me to marry you, darling. That's love. That's very kind of you. 3 items on a desert island. Well, the first one I know without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be tweezers. Yeah, I can't live without tweezers. I went on a holiday once, and you know when they're going through your bags and they're looking for weapons, concealed weapons, and they took my tweezers away from me. And I'm like, I mean, what do you expect me to do with a pair of tweezers on an aeroplane? I'm not going to pluck the pilot's death. It's just not going to happen. So I spent a week without tweezers, and it was just hell. It ruined my holiday. That's tragic. But when you get to a certain age, hairs appear from places that they shouldn't appear from. So other things I would take, I'd have to have something that would play music. So I'd have to be able to access my Spotify account. I'd probably, oh God, third, that's 2, isn't it? This is hard. I'd have to smuggle 4 in, I think. I'd have to take some chocolate. Yeah, I'd have to have some chocolate, and I would have to take another makeup item. I'd have to take a concealer. So, sorry. I know that is totally boring and probably not practical. If I was stranded on a desert island, I probably should take some matches, shouldn't I, and a water filter, but no, tweezers. Kat. How did the detox go, and do you have any future goals? Well, the detox is still going. I'm still doing it. I have just gone into the 3rd week. It's 21 days in total. So I'm on the homeward straight, and you know, it's going brilliantly. I feel so much better off the back of doing this, and I'm really, really pleased I've done it. I've shied away from doing things like this for years because I never thought I would have the willpower to stick it out. So I've surprised myself with that. I've lost just over 4 kilograms in weight, which wasn't the main reason why I did it. I mean, it's always a bonus, but it wasn't the main reason. It was for a health thing. But I haven't missed meat. I've not eaten meat now for 2 weeks, and I've not missed it at all. I've not missed alcohol, which is surprising because I love a glass of wine on an evening, but I've not missed it. Chocolate was hard, but in the 2nd week, you are allowed 80% cacao chocolate. So I've been having a little square of chocolate a night, and that just kind of ticks the box for that. But it's brilliant. It's really, really good. Thank you for asking, Kat. If you're into detoxing, this is a new program. It's worth looking up. It's called the Upgraders Method. I would highly recommend it. Do I have any future goals? Personal goals. Do you know what? I'm at a stage in my life now, and it's just I'm appreciating the simpler things more. I think I probably was guilty of being quite materialistic when I was younger, but since Edward's come along, I think my goal is just to raise a well-rounded, polite, happy, and obviously hopefully healthy young man. That's my goal, and to see him blossom. Okie dokie. Sharon, if you could be anyone, oh, this is good. If you could be anyone else in the past or present, then who would you like to be and why? Gosh, that's hard. Eva Mendes, because she's married to Ryan Gosling, who is my crush. No, seriously. Although I would like that, but yeah, no, that's not. Oh gosh. So many people spring to mind because of achievements that they've had. So you think, oh, Emily Pankhurst, wow, getting the vote for women, fantastic. But I can imagine it was a pretty shitty existence trying to get there. Oh gosh, Amelia Earhart, that would be, but she died again. She probably died in a plane crash, as did Amy Johnson, you know. Yeah, it's a difficult one, that I find that really, really hard. If Dolly Parton, I want to be Dolly Parton, probably when she was a bit younger, because she's got a lovely singing voice. I can imagine she's got a lovely life. She does a lot for charity, so she's good, but she's still got a nice life. She's not struggling for her art, is she? Other than probably back pain because of the weight of her boobs. But, you know, what is her saying? It costs a lot of money to look this cheap, which I think is brilliant. Sorry, Sharon. I think that's a crap answer, but I'm struggling to come up with something. Okay, all for nothing. I think your channel is doing great. Is it fulfilling your expectations? What are your ambitions for the channel in terms of growth? Oh gosh, it's more than filling my expectations. If I told you that I procrastinated about setting up a YouTube channel for months, I am notoriously a very, very self-critical person, and I filmed so many videos, so many vlogs, and deleted so many vlogs. And yeah, it was a real challenge for me. But when I took that leap, it was so rewarding. It was like a weightlifter. It was like, yes, I've finally done it. And just to see how it has grown the way it has. I mean, how long have I been doing it? It was May last year when I started. And, you know, it's incredible. It absolutely is fulfilling my expectations and more. What are my I've lost it. Where am I? What's my ambitions for the channel in terms of growth? Do you know, I don't really want to put too much pressure on myself. I think the thing is, my brother's channel is just absolutely flying. He's doing incredible, and you see that, and it's quite easy to get carried away and think, oh yeah, I want to be like that. I want to have 100,000 subscribers. And yes, that would be incredible. However, you've got to be realistic, and maybe my journey is going to be a little bit slower than his. But I'm okay with that, because at the moment it fits in with what I'm doing. Who knows where it will go? At the moment, I'm just taking it each day as it comes. If it goes like my brother's has, then amazing. I would be absolutely elated. But in the same token, if it doesn't, I wouldn't be devastated. Kelly Wooten, can I do, not you do. Well, you can do them if you want, Kelly, but I'm assuming that you're asking me. Can I do makeup tutorial and more cooking, please? Cooking, absolutely. In fact, I was thinking about doing a bit of cooking on this one as well, but then I thought, well, it's a bit too random, that. So I will do more cooking, because I do actually quite enjoy doing that. Makeup tutorial. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a bit of a slap it on kind of girl. I might have a go at it, but I'm not promising anything. I'll try. I might try and do it in some kind of shorts version as opposed to doing it as a main vlog. I think that might be a better fit, but I don't know. Watch this space. I'm not saying no. Right, so Sunu. I'm just experimenting with how to upload videos, etc. Did you find the technical stuff difficult, and do you have any tips? Oh gosh, it is a pain when you first start. It really, really is. But the biggest tip is just keep at it. Just keep doing it, because the more you do it, it just comes easier. I have just learned through doing it, really. And you get quicker at it. You start off and you're so slow and it feels so tedious and you make daft mistakes. But it is so rewarding when you get it right. So stick at it. Another tip is, there is nothing that you cannot find out that is not on either YouTube or Google. So if you're kind of stumbling with something, just Google it and there will be a tutorial on how to do it. That is how you learn how to do things. It really, really is. So yeah, good luck and do it. Just, yeah, crack on, because you won't look back, I promise you. Oh, my tea's gone cold now. Kathy, do you feel you have found your forever home? No, I don't. I love my home, and it feels like a proper family home now. We've got Edward. The thing is, I love renovating. I love decorating. So I get bored very, very quickly if the house is the same and I can't do anything. Give me the opportunity to move into a building product and I would absolutely bite your hand off. The only problem is we absolutely adore where we are. It's not the house, it's the surrounding area. We've got, I mean, I'm sure you've seen on the vlogs the garden that we've got. We've got a big plot of land and we've got stunning views, and it would be very, very difficult for us to replace that. Okay, Laura Martini, do you have a favourite lingerie brand and why? When was the last time you had a bra fitting? And have you had any funny or interesting experience whilst being fitted? Do you know, I haven't. It's always been pretty boring. Sorry, I know that's probably a very, very dull answer, but that's the truth. Bra fittings, probably don't have them done as regularly as I should. And the last one I would say was probably about 6 years ago in Marks and Spencer's. So I use Marks and Spencer's mostly for like everyday lingerie. Imagine they do have some really nice, pretty stuff. But if I was to pick my favourite lingerie brand, there's probably two. My favourite being how do you pronounce it? Agent Provocateur and La Perla, but they are both very, very expensive. So yeah, I'll stick to Marx's. so boring. Tiny Tina, name the best city you have visited in the UK and why is it your favourite? Different cities have been fantastic at probably different stages in my life. Manchester always is up there at the top because I've just had some fantastic nights out with girlfriends. We've been for birthdays, and it's just a great city, Manchester. I do love it there. However, I think now, where I am in my life, I would have to say Bath, however you want to pronounce it. I went with my mum for the first time when I was pregnant with Edward, and then I went more recently with a couple of girlfriends, and it's just fantastic. I adore the architecture, quite similar to Buxton, with the crescent and stuff. A lot of Georgian architecture. It's beautiful. But one of the things that I loved is the shopping, and not just mainly for clothes, for interiors. They've got some fantastic interior design shops, and I love that. Ochre is there, which is one of the best furniture interior design shops in my mind. I love it, and they had one there. So yeah, I think at the moment Bath, I'm going for the posh option, would have to be up there. Oh, some about flying. So I've had quite a few questions from John and Margaret. Thank you very much. I think they were preempting me not getting many questions because I did say to John I was a little bit nervous. So they sent me plenty to keep me going. I'm not going to get to all of them because you have literally sent me thousands, but I will touch on some of them. Okay, so for a budding pilot, what would your advice be for gaining a PPL? Go and have a test flight somewhere. Make sure it's for you. Make sure you enjoy it. There's different places where you can do your PPL. If you're wanting to do a quick fix, get it done and out of the way, you can always go over to America and do kind of like a condensed course. A lot of people go to Florida because obviously you usually have a run of good weather there, so you can blast it off and get it done pretty quick. However, there was always this thing that I heard that if you do your PPL in somewhere like Florida, you're generally not as good a pilot as you are if you do it in England, because you're subjected to a lot more treacherous, a lot worse weather. It's definitely treacherous today. There'd be no flying today in this wind. So for experience in weather, it's better to do it here. But if you want to do a quick fix, go to the US. And how difficult was it to progress and gain a commercial pilot's license? I didn't find it particularly difficult moving up to the commercial pilot's license, because it was a very similar kind of flying to your PPL. It was just a bit on a higher level, a little bit more in depth, more accurate navigation was required for that. Everything was done to a much higher requirement, but it was pretty much the same type of skills that you had to do. The hardest part of flying was flight training, was probably the instrument rating, was gaining that. And the instrument rating is basically when they're teaching you to be able to fly in bad weather. So you don't have any visibility. They literally put shutters up in all the windows, and you have to fly by purely instruments only. That was definitely the most challenging, but the most rewarding. When you crack that, you know you've done something good. What do you wish you could have been or done so far in life? What I wish I could have done would have probably had the courage to go out and be an interior designer, because I think that is where my true love is. I've got another flying one here from Hannah. What was your worst experience during your flying career? The worst, and this is not from a frightening point of view with regards to being scared for flying. It was scared of what the outcome was going to be. I went to test fly an aircraft that my employer was looking to buy, and I was just taking it out on a little jolly, and soon after takeoff I heard a mayday call. And yeah, you hear these things and you practice for these things, but to actually hear one, and it was horrible. It was really, really horrible. So what happened was I'd just taken off, and there was an aircraft. I'm not going to say where it was, because it's not too long ago, to be fair, and people may be aware of it, and I don't want to upset anybody. But I'd just taken off, and there was an aircraft, I believe it was coming into land, but they issued a mayday call. I think they'd had an engine failure, and they did actually go down, and subsequently both pilot and passenger were killed. But because I'd just literally taken off, I was the first on the scene, and the air traffic control, they'd not managed to finish their mayday call, and they'd not been able to give their location. So they were asking people to look out, and that's what they asked me to do, to circle the area looking for an aircraft. And yeah, it was horrible. It was probably one of the most horrible experiences in my life, just not knowing what I was about to see, what I was about to experience. Yeah, so that was awful. Fortunately, it's a rarity in aviation, but when it does happen, it's obviously extremely tragic. Right. Oh, it's upset me a little bit, that, because it was really, really awful. So a couple more from John and Margaret. You seem to have an extremely large garden. What plans do you have for it now and in the future? Do you think you'll ever get to drive the mower? Yes, I will get to drive the mower. We've just ordered a new one, actually, because the one we've currently got keeps packing in. So we have a new one coming in March. So I'm looking forward to christening that. The garden, we have tried over the years to do various things with it. We've tried to tier it. We have just because it is a bit of a slope, so we tried to level different areas off, and it became quickly apparent that we just needed to leave the garden to pretty much do what it wanted. It's big, and we have a lot of interfering factors like the deer coming and trampling and eating any plants that we try to put in. It's very much open to the elements, so it's difficult to put any, to plant anything particularly nice. We'll just keep smaller areas, I think, manicured and nice, and let the bigger part just leave it to the bees. For anyone interested in being a YouTuber, what would your advice be? just go for it. Don't think about it. Don't procrastinate for months and months like I did. Just do it. I was listening to a podcast the other day of a really, really established guy, one of probably the biggest channels in the world. And he was saying, you know, you've got to get 100 videos out there. You've got to get 100 vlogs before you can even start to have any experience or whatever. He says, those first 10, 20, 30, 40 videos are going to be rubbish. So you've just got to keep plugging away until you find your niche. Don't even give it a second thought for the first 100. I mean, I've only done, I don't even think I've done 40 vlogs yet. So I'm still a long way from that magic 100 that they all say is when you finally feel that you've reached it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different. Might not have been as entertaining for some of you as me being out and about, but fingers crossed when this horrible storm has dispersed, I can get back out and yeah, go visit some fun places. Once again, thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye.